Students, can we begin a presentation? I think one group was left, retail, data in healthcare sector, big data in healthcare sector, and it is Mohammed Umar's group. So Mohammed Umar's group is around?
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Share your slide, Mohammed Umar and company, and begin your presentation.
Okay. Is it visible to all?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay, Aksha, you can.
Shall we begin?
Yes,
Assalamu alaikum, ma'am.
sir,
Yes, ma'am.
you may begin.
Okay, ma'am, thank you. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. The topic for our group presentation is Big Data in Healthcare. The contents that would be covered in the presentation are: now let us see what is big data. Big data is a term for collection of data sets so large and complex that it is difficult to store it and process it with the traditional data processing systems. Now the question arises, how can we say that a particular type of data should be considered as big data? So there are some characteristics of big data, also known as 5 V's of big data. First is volume. It means the amount of data is very huge. Second, variety. Data is in different formats and collected from various sources. Third, value. Extract useful data. Velocity. High speed of data accumulation. And last is veracity. Inconsistencies and uncertainty in data. Moving to the next slide, let us see big data in healthcare. More than contributing to an increase in profits and cutting down of wasteful overheads, big data has found widespread application within healthcare industry to predict epidemics, cure disease, improve quality of life. So, in the terms of healthcare, we can describe it as massive volumes of information created by adoption of digital technologies that collect patient records and help in managing hospital performance. Now we can relate the 5 V's of big data to healthcare. First, volume means massive amount of data is generated from hospitals and clinics in the forms of patient records and test results. All this data is generated at very high speed, which attributes to the velocity of big data. Variety refers to the various forms and types of data. For example, clinical data, X-ray images, medical images, data from pharmaceutical companies, research and development data, patient behavior, etc. Accuracy and trustworthiness of generated data is termed as veracity. Analyzing all this data will benefit the medical sector by enabling faster disease detection, better treatment, and reduced costs. This is known as the value of big data. So we can say that big data in healthcare has a lot of positive and life-saving outcomes. Now I would request Hamad to continue.
Thank you, Aksa. Now I will talk about changes in healthcare sector and growth over years. So, India, a country with ancient established system of medical sciences, first became familiar with the recent system of medicines in the 17th century. The health infrastructure improved with these efforts, and parameters like the number of doctors per 1,000 population, number of hospital beds per 10,000 population, number of medical colleges, number of hospitals and dispensaries all improved slowly but gradually. The advent of private hospitals and big players also had a hand in developing healthcare and helped increase the life expectancy of the average Indian from 32 years in 1947 to 69.09 years in 2018. Indian healthcare industry is one of the fastest growing sectors and is expected to reach 372 billion in 2022. Indian healthcare industry is expected to generate 2.7 million jobs between 2020 and 2023. The future of healthcare is to be connected, information rich, and patient centric. Technology plays a pivotal role here. Moving on to the next slide. The hospital industry in India, accounting for 80% of the total healthcare market, is witnessing a huge investor demand from both global as well as domestic investors. The hospital industry is expected to reach $132 billion by 2023, from $61.8 billion in 2017, growing at compounded annual growth rate of 16 to 17%. The Indian medical tourism market is expected to grow from its current size of $3 billion to $7 to $8 billion by 2022. 70,000 Ayushman Bharat centers, which aim at providing primary health care services to communities closer to their homes, are operational in India. Health insurance contributes 20% to the non-life insurance business, making it the second largest portfolio. The gross direct premium income underwritten by health insurance grew 17.16% year on year to reach $6.87 billion in financial year 2020. Now, Saad will continue from here.
Thanks, Amar. Now I will continue the topic need of big data in healthcare. In healthcare, the move to digital records and the rapid movement of medical technologies have paved the way for big data to have a big impact in the field. Big data collection and analysis enables doctors and health administrators to make more informed decisions about treatment and services. Moving on to the next slide. Why we needed big data in healthcare? First point is assisting high risk patients. If we have our important files in a digital manner, then we know that it will never get misplaced. So same in this case, as if all the hospital records are digitized, it will be the ideal data that can be gotten to comprehend the pattern of numerous patients. It is an extraordinary method to keep a rundown and check on high risk patients and require them customized care. Now, second point is reducing cost. Big data can be an incredible method to spare expenses for hospitals that are either finished or underbooked staff members. Prescient investigation can help settle this issue by forcing the confirmation rates and help with staff allotment. Big data also help in health tracking. It assisting a lot in tracking the health record of the user. It not only helps in tracking a patient's sleep, exercise, distance walked, or heart rate, but it also helps in tracking other data like patient's blood pressure, pulse oximeters, and many more. Next point is preventing human errors. You must have heard several times that any professional person a mistake. This mistake can harm the patient even if it may lead to death. Such errors can be diminished since big data can be used client information and the endorsed prescription. This tool will benefit doctors who deal with many patients in a day. Now over to Mohammed Umar.
Thank you, Saad. As we know, there is a need of big data in healthcare sector. So it is also important that we deploy it in a way which should be good. So here we have three crucial ways big data can be properly implemented in this healthcare sector. The first is data-driven mindset. It is like the DNA of a company. A data-driven approach enables companies to examine and organize their data with the goal of better serving their customers, and people should be empowered to resolve problems by having the most data possible on their side. The second thing is proper collection and storage mechanism. It is a critical importance that the team prepare properly to ensure that data is collected in a structured manner. The importance of having a structured and streamlined collection process will not only make sure there is efficiency in the collection process, but also provides you with a means to defend your findings and conclusions. Data collection mechanism can be divided into two categories, which are collectors and containers. Collectors are basically means to obtain data from a source, and containers are those resources where the collected data is recorded. Containers could be in the form of a database, a spreadsheet, flat files, or even paper documents also. And now the third and last thing is smart algorithm. For a human, it is quite challenging to encode all of the rules and criteria. Furthermore, multiple humans would probably come up with the different criteria and rules, and it would be hard to find a general pattern. For algorithms, however, these tasks become more and more easy to solve. I believe that machines can't reproduce human thinking rather than trying to automate actual human expertise. So, with algorithms, we should improve human work performance. With artificial intelligence, we can automate these everyday tasks and free people up to devote time on more productive tasks. Over to Humera.
Thank you, Umar. Now we'll talk about data management in healthcare. Today we are facing a situation where we are flooded with tons of data from every aspect of our life, and the ability to manage data is becoming increasingly valuable in healthcare sector. Healthcare providers, organizations, and networks they benefit from incorporating data management into the strategic planning and business goals. And the key part of healthcare data analytics is effective healthcare data management, which lead to increased operational efficiencies, better patient care, improved health outcomes. A large part of what data healthcare analysts do is related to understanding and controlling the way data is collected, where it's coming from, and how it's being stored, and who has access to it. The data management in healthcare is regulated by government federal law, namely HIPAA. It is an organization to use data management practices that secure healthcare information and protect patient privacy. So, what are the types of data in healthcare? Data in healthcare come from many different sources, and the internal sources include the clinical data, administrative data, behavioral and sentimental data, and pharmaceutical data. And some of the examples of clinical data include the personal medical records, electronic health records, and hospital records. Now, talking about the tools and method that we use for data management in healthcare. Advancement in technology is helping healthcare data analysts manage big data with more tools, which include mobile and web applications, electronic or cloud-based databases. The foundation of healthcare data management starts with data operating and storage systems. A well-designed system should effectively and efficiently create databases that are soundly structured, searchable, and maintainable. And it should also integrate with a vendor-neutral archive, VNA, that consolidates many types of healthcare information into a single platform. And VNA is a standardized format that works no matter what product you're using for data management. So with the right infrastructure in place as well as properly trained personnel to manage healthcare organizations, they are well positioned to harness and leverage the power of big data in healthcare and cyber applications. That's it. And now I would like Saria to carry on with the presentation.
The health professionals are responsible for different kinds of information such as patient medical history, clinical data, and other personal data, and also their quick access. The consultant himself has to refer them during the treatment until the patient is completely cured. It serves an important document for further treatment and follow-up. The medical examination results are important for the evaluation of health status, screening for risk factors, and provide preventive counseling, thus benefits in the early detection of treatable disease. Previously, the common practice to store such medical records and information were in the form of handwritten or typed reports. Nowadays, with the advent of computer system, the digitization of all clinical examination and medical records in the healthcare system has become a standard and widely adopted practice. Now, Hamdan will continue the presentation.
Thanks, Saria. Who can benefit from the use of big data in healthcare? Big data and predictive analytics stand to benefit nearly all aspects of healthcare. Some of the biggest winners are providers, that is, clinics and hospitals. Insights generated by big data analytics will help healthcare providers deliver better patient outcomes, reduce wastage, and enjoy efficient workflow and processes. Second one is payers, that is insurance. Executing data analytics at large scale and can benefit payers in a number of ways, including elimination of fraud, reduction of costs and improper claims, faster reconciliation, and better services. Third one is patient. Patients are the ultimate winners in a data-driven healthcare environment. They will reap countless benefits such as superior health management, predictive care, healthier lives, savings in insurance, and overall healthcare. Fourth one is device manufacturers. Data analytics helps manufacturers create more better innovative products to solve health issues and build devices relevant to patient needs. And the fifth and the last one is pharma industry. Better research and development, more effective drugs, savings on manufacturing drugs, innovative drugs can be made. From here, Fatma will continue.
Thank you, Hamdan. Now we will look into applications of big data in healthcare. The first and foremost application of big data in healthcare is in maintaining electronic health record. What is electronic health record? It is basically a record of your age, your gender, your physical parameters, any disease you are suffering from, your medical history, your allergies, any treatment you are going through. So all this collective data about you is collected in digital form, and you can access this data from everywhere and anywhere. You don't have to carry an offline file with you.
It also helps in real-time alerting. What is real-time alerting? There are certain tools that can be installed in a hospital, ICU, or somewhere that uses clinical disease software and analyzes medical data on spot and helps doctor in making the prescription. Suppose there is a patient of a cardiac patient which is having a cardiac problem, is admitted in an ICU of a hospital. So if his blood pressure shoots up suddenly, then what the system does, this system instantly sends the signal to the doctor. The doctor can come and attend the patient accordingly. Big data also helps in fighting certain diseases like cancer. There are biobanks in which the tumor samples are there and they are linked with patient treatment. So that helps researchers to find out cure for cancer. For example, there is a patient who is having lung cancer and he is also suffering from depression. So he is taking antidepressant medicines for his depression. So now what researchers found out that this antidepressant medicine was having an effect on his cancer cells. So basically this was his cancer was getting cured a bit due to taking this medicine. So this led the researchers to conclude that antidepressant medicines might have effect on cancer cells. Similarly, big data also helps in pharmaceutical companies in discovering new drugs. It also helps in telemedicine. Through data-driven insight into a patient health via telemedicine, clinicians can find better cure for him. Next slide, please. Big data, previous one. Big data also helps in smart staffing. Using big predictive analytics, it's possible to predict how many patients are expected to arrive in a hospital at a certain time. So the hospital management can decide how much staff it needs at that particular time in a hospital. In similar ways, the big data also help in population health. Using Google Map and public data available, the government agencies can find out which areas are prone to a certain disease. So they can deploy the medical services in that particular area accordingly. In similar ways, data also helps in reducing hospital visits. It can also help in diagnosis using medical images also. Over to you, Anam.
Thank you, Fatima. So, in order to handle, store, analyze such massive data is a challenging task. So, some of the major challenges often faced are: first is data linkage and storage. Many organizations, after going through the pros and the cons of in-house data storage as well as a cloud storage, end up with the mixing both what we technically call the hybrid system. While using the hybrid system, they should ensure that all the systems are able to communicate with each other and with all the time and or whenever there is a requirement. Second is identifying appropriate tools. The companies often make a poor decisions and selecting inappropriate technologies for giant data analytics. As a result, money, time, efforts, and work hours are wasted. Third, data integration. Data in a corporation comes from various sources like social media, ERP applications, customer financial supports, images, presentations, and reports created by the employees. Combining all this data, organized reports may be a challenging task. Fourth, talent deficit. The professionals will include the scientists, data analytics, and data engineers to work with the tools and make the sense of the giant data sets. Data handling tools have evolved rapidly, but in most cases, the professionals haven't taken actionable steps to bridge this. Fifth, updating. Providing in coordination with the database administration should have a proper ideas about which type of data needs to be manually updated and for which type of data automation can be implemented so that changes can be done without any downtime for the end user. Sixth, sharing. Healthcare industries is taking steps to take up with his challenges of easy data sharing, overshadowing the technological and organizational boundaries. Seventh, security and privacy. Healthcare organizations should organize regular meetups and to remind their employees about the importance of security and how they are responsible to maintain it. Eighth, stewardship. Healthcare organizations should appoint a dedicated person who will be responsible for creation, modification, deletion if needed, and for recording. So this person is often called a steward. Moving on to the next slide. Now, how to overcome these challenges? So, the certain steps can be taken. First one is managing the data growth. One of the largest challenges to overcome data handling is data itself and adjusting to its continuous growth. And it is estimated that the amount of data in the world data system doubles every 2 years, and it's only going to grow. So, the best solution for the companies to implement the big data technologies to help them manage all of it. Second, analyzing big data and time management. Big data is consistently coming in from all directions. So in order to keep up and process in a timely manner, the most efficient way to exclude the some data from your analysis and determine what the data is most relevant and focus on that. Third, finding people with the right side for the big data. In the lack of data analytics and data scientists can be a major roadblock in using the big data. Support your employees by providing the big data training and certification. After given these opportunities, big data consultant will come certainly jump in. And the last, securing your big data. Cybersecurity measures in the first place could make your organization vulnerable to cyber attacks. So when a breach happens, you can use a number of tools and it can be hard to identify where this breach is coming from or which tool has been compromised. So the solution is to enhance your cybersecurity practices to cover your big data tools and initiatives grow. So now Fokia will continue the presentation.
I would like to highlight some of the I would like to highlight the importance of big data during coronavirus, that is COVID-19, which will remain engraved in our memory for a long time. It intensified the need for a larger commitment of the world towards global health preparedness. We have witnessed the poor responses towards medical, economic, and social problems that arose due to pandemic. COVID-19, the biggest health emergencies of our time, not only laid the gap in our health system but also highlighted the importance of investing in well-being at both personal and system level. Moving to the next slide, let us see the roles of big data that was played during pandemic. So despite initial hiccups, the healthcare system in India managed to withstand the pandemic. One of the advantages we have today in the fight against coronavirus that was not as sophisticated in the SARS outbreak of 2003 is big data and the high level of technology available. Big data technology has played an important role in personal tracking, surveillance, and early warning, tracking of the virus sources, drug screening, medical treatment, resource allocation, and production recovery. The data used included location and travel data, medical and health data, news media data, government data, and epidemic prevention data. By collecting millions of samples from patients, scientists studied the virus genome sequencing and how it affects people in contact. This helped in identifying the variants and predict their behavior and severity. Doctors today are predicting life and death with the help of big data, which helped them during pandemic to find who needs a respiratory urgently and who does not. There were systems that alerted doctors for further examination of the patient when he showed a potential sign of infection. Addition to that, the Indian government developed mobile app Arogya Setu to help trace the number of positive cases near the location of the user so that he or she can take extra precaution against the virus and make the decisions regarding lockdown as and when required. When scientists were working on developing vaccines, big data analytics acted as a key accelerator that opened the door for researchers to conduct trials and see its outcomes. Big data analytics has proven effective in speeding vaccine development both by enabling more efficient design of experiments and by creating rapid scale production rollout processes. Besides, on a daily basis, data dashboard provide an overall view of vaccination records, like which country has the highest vaccinated people, and what are the different categories of vaccine offered, and which vaccine is used in various countries. Now, I would like to call Aksa to conclude our presentation. Thank you.
So we can conclude big data has a potential for revolutionizing healthcare from top to bottom. Healthcare organizations should bet big on big data to provide better patient outcome, save on cost, and build efficiency across all departments. For pharma companies also, big data is driving force that will help them to design and build more innovative drugs and products. So we can say that healthcare stakeholders can rely on big data and predictive analytics to tackle major issues like readmission rates, high-risk patient care, staffing issues, dosage errors, and much more. Thank you so much. This sums up our presentation. We are open for questions now.
I have a question to ask to Mr. Umar. Is Umar available?
Yes.
Umar, can you tell me about some data collection techniques?
Yes. In this sector, we can collect data by interviews, questionnaires, and surveys, and some observation. But most important thing in hospital is documents and records. Assume that someone came to hospital last year with a typical problem of back pain, and by our treatment he got relief. But unfortunately some problem comes again after some time. Then what will we do? First we will search his file in our data, and we'll try to know which specific medicines helped him in past. By doing this approach, we'll be able to start treatment in a straight way. So this is the main purpose of data collection. Hope you got it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I have
question.
just one question. Hello.
Yeah, I
Can
have a
I?
I
question.
will ask to ask the
Yes,
question.
the question is how big data is transforming the retail industry, and can you name any which have benefited from it? Any retail industry?
Can you repeat your question?
I'm saying that how big data is transforming the retail industry, and can you name any which have benefited from it?
Just let me interrupt. This presentation was on healthcare sector. You can ask questions on healthcare,
So I have a
right?
Ma'am, I would
question. Yeah,
like
yeah.
to ask
May
a
I
question.
ask the
I have a
question, please?
question. Yeah. Can I ask?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Who is it? Mine.
Yes, ma'am. So there was this
Mine,
one.
you can ask.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So there was this one slide where you mentioned that big data helps in reducing hospital visits, something like that. So can you please tell us how?
As I
Uh,
said,
Okay.
am I audible?
yeah, yeah, you are audible.
Yeah. As I said, we when we have data of the patient, then we can start treatment in a straight way. As I said by an example, I said that last year someone came in our hospital with some typical problem, and we treated him well. But unfortunately he got same problem again after some time in future. So we will use his past data and try to know which medicines treated him well.
Yes,
That
mine.
is
I
why
would.
we have to collect data.
Yes,
Adding
I would
some
like
more
to add.
points.
Yes. Oh, as Umar said that we can collect the previous data that I mentioned according to electronic health record. If he's having electronic health record, then he don't have to visit again and again. Because suppose you are suffering from any disease mild and you go to one hospital for that, and some doctors prescribe you some medicine or some checkups. You went through all that, but again somewhere you have to go to another hospital. Then again you will have to go through all those checkups again. But if you connect these hospitals with big data in such a way that these hospitals share the patient's history and everything among themselves, then this way they can share your history and this will reduce your visit to the hospital.
Yeah, thank you
Adding
so
some more
much.
points to it, adding some more points like with the introduction of this telemedicine app at what we call the telehealth. So because it eases their schedules and there is a no waste time. They got a prescription right away, and going to hospital there is a lot of logistical challenges. They are normally time consuming, which are being reduced. And far as the doctors are concerned, on the other hand, they are able to double they are able to see the patients in a double number. They used to give more times to patients. So
Can I ask a question?
Ma'am,
I
my
have one
question is for
question.
Mera.
Can I ask a question, ma'am?
Hello.
yes,
Yes,
please.
you may.
My question is for Anna.
Yes.
You use a term like a hybrid system. Can you relate this with healthcare?
Okay, hybrid healthcare brings actually together the best of telehealth and in-person treatment together. It relies heavily on the technology for video conferencing and patient monitoring appointments, scheduling, and follow-up. So I think you got it. It brings together the telehealth and in-person treatment. It's called a hybrid system in
I have
health.
I have
question.
one query. May I ask a question?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, yes.
So, what is the main purpose of this data-driven approach in healthcare? Can you please elaborate?
Uh, Ashutosh. Okay. When a company employs a data-driven approach, it means it makes decision based on data analysis and interpretation. A data-driven approach enables companies to examine and organize their data with the goal of better serving their customers and consumers. Okay, so this is the main purpose of this data-driven approach.
And I
Thank
would
you.
like to add to that data driving approach is basically you have your all the like in a hospital there are several workers like receptionists and all that. So everyone has to keep the concept that we are going to use the technology. This should be in your mind that we are going to easy things with the help of technology and data available.
Okay,
My
thank
question
you.
is for Humera.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes,
Humera,
I'm
you
here.
talked about big data analytics in the slide. So, can you tell about the types of analytics used in healthcare?
Can I know your name?
Ma'am, my name is Farwa.
Farwa. Okay. Carry on.
Okay, Farwa. There are three types of analytics that are used in healthcare. First is descriptive analysis, which examines and describes something that's already happened. Second one is diagnostic analysis, which seeks to understand the cause of an event. And the third one is predictive analysis, which explores historical data, past trends, and assumptions to answer questions about the future. That's it.
Okay, thank
I
you.
have a question for Aksa.
I have a question too.
I have a question for Aksa.
Yes.
I'm making a series of data. Can you explain veracity of data in healthcare?
Can you repeat? You are not audible. Your voice breaking.
As you mentioned, series of big data. Can you explain veracity of big data in healthcare sector? Am I audible now?
Okay. Okay.
Sabha,
Thank you.
you are not.
Please repeat. I didn't get the question.
She's basically saying
Can I ask the question?
veracity. What is veracity in healthcare sector?
Yes.
So, veracity basically means the quality and accuracy of data. And when it comes to healthcare, it is very much important that the data quality should be good and it is up to date. So, this is one of the challenges also for healthcare sectors. Uh, their data should be complete, accurate, and up to date. So, healthcare organizations have to work on this also. That the data that they are using is up to date and correct. Because if it is not so, then it can affect the patient's life also. I
Okay,
hope
thank you.
I'm clear.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I have one question. Someone
Okay.
in your group was. Ma'am, should I?
Yes, Samkana, you may ask. You may ask.
Someone in your group was mentioning about electronic health record that uses personal health data. So, do you people think it can be a threat to our privacy if it gets leaked? Okay, Tamkana, yeah, it can be a threat, no doubt, because if you're releasing your personal history to anyone, it can be a threat. But like suppose in India, the government has proposed e health card like Aadhaar card. So government when Prime Minister he proposed the e Aadhaar card, then he also proposed an agency known as DEPA, that stands for Data Empowerment and Protection Architecture, in which the government will they will make an agency like this, and they will make sure that your personal data is not shared with anyone without your consent. First, you have they will take your consent, and then this via this agency they will share this data with the doctor. So in that way, so we have to discover more such ways to prevent the breach in this data sharing. Okay, thank you, Fatma. Thank you. Any more questions?
It is mandatory, but 15 marks, 2 days lasted.
If students are over with the question, I want to run through your slides. Aksat, Fatima, if you can just run through your slides, right from slide 1. I want to see it because they're very nice slides which you have put in. Or you can go in a reverse order also, that's okay, either way. Okay, just start, yes. Who's sharing the slides? Good.
Muhammad Umar.
Yeah, go to the next slide. Okay. Okay. Next slide. Yes, next. 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 Okay, this is your last slide if I'm not wrong. Just one question for you. If you're asked in an interview, what is the biggest challenge of big data usage in healthcare? Anybody? One big challenge.
Ma'am,
Yes, Mahmoud Umar, Fatima, Aksa, anybody?
Ma'am, one of the biggest challenge is to collect the data of the so much large population. If you see in an individual, there are a lot of data. You have different blood pressure. Every person is having different genetic codes, different blood pressure, different sugar levels, different you can say different type of immunity molecules in their body. So it's
Okay, Fatima, thank you. Can Aksa answer if you have a different version?
Yes, ma'am. I think veracity is also very important that the data that we collect is accurate and up to date. For example, if a person is having diabetes, so what treatment from where it has begun and now what is the dosage that is being given to him, that all should be updated. If it is not updated,
Aksa,
then
fine,
it will
thank
cause
you.
problems.
Aksa, thank you. Can
ma'am.
Umar add or say something different?
Ma'am, I think a big challenge is lack of training. I see in many hospitals in our country there are people who are working in hospital but don't know how to manage data and
Okay.
how to do
Anybody in the
it
group
well.
wants to add? Anybody in the group? No,
Ma'am, the data
identifying
collected, it should appropriate tools, identifying the appropriate tools. Like the companies, they often make a poor decisions, like in selecting the wrong technologies for the giant data analytics. As a result, that makes money, time, efforts, and the work that hours are wasted.
Okay, it was a good presentation, and I'll get back to you with the notable features after tomorrow's class. Tomorrow class we'll have at 3 o'clock because we don't have a scheduled class. We begin at 3 so that we wind up with the remaining 2 topics. It was a very good presentation, and I'll let you know your good features only through notable comments or notable features, which I'll share with you tomorrow evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ma'am,
Thank you.
Ma'am, is it possible for today only?
Ma'am, please can you take our presentation today? We'll stick within the time limit.
No, but I can, but then we have not intimated to your group members or have not intimated to the others.
No, ma'am, you have. Ma'am, you mentioned our presentation will start 30 tomorrow, and this presentation is supposed to be done before during the class timing.
Arma is in which group?
Barisha.
Barisha's group.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you want, you can just with a break of 2 minutes, we can begin. Just a break of 2 minutes if you are there.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Nothing
Thank
waiting
you.
for me.
Perfect, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
This is the way how smart people work. क्या
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next group can begin your presentation. I think it is Varisha's group on crowdsourcing.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Over to
Can I share my screen? Good morning, ma'am, sir, and everyone else present. Our group today will be discussing on the topic crowdsourcing. We will be talking about how it started, what has been the nature, the factors that leads to the success, and the basic crowdsourcing disasters over the years. Crowdsourcing mainly is the collection of individuals working in a group or the collection of data or information which usually is sourced through the internet. It leads to saving cost, increases the speed, and develops the ability to work with people who have skills that an in-house team may lack. That we also, it brings a limited control and may give results of low quality. In the presentation today, we will be discussing all these basic aspects and the factors that highlight the structure of crowdsourcing. I would now like to ask Syed Ashar to talk about the historical background of crowdsourcing.
Thank you, Anas. Crowdsourcing is a peach nowadays, isn't it? Let us know some of its history. Well, the most visible case was the Longitude Prize. The prize was offered by the British government to develop a reliable way to compete longitude in 1714. King Louis IV of France offered a high price for making alkali from sea salt. In 1884, the renowned Oxford Dictionary relied upon 800 readers to catalog words. Well, there were instances where crowdsourcing gained recognition later on. Let us know some of them. In 21st century, a book by James Surowiecki, The Wisdom of Crowds, shed spotlight on collective wisdom. Wikipedia started using crowdsourced knowledge in 2001. YouTube made crowdsourcing video entertainment a thing in 2005. Crowdsourcing term was coined by Jeff Howey in the year 2006 in his article Rise of Crowdsourcing. Combined with the rapid growth of technologies, for example, Threadless, a t-shirt retailer in 2000 which was crowdsourced. Now I'd ask Hassan to speak about types of crowdsourcing.
Yes, crowd labor. Crowd labor fills the gap between supply and demand of labor by getting a distributed labor pool to perform tasks virtually. Crowdfunding. Crowdfunding helps in raising capital for new products and businesses through donations and sponsorship from online investors and general public. Open innovation. Open innovation is companies asking people outside their organization for innovative ideas. Example would be my Starbucks crowd designing. Companies outsource the task of designing anything from logos to product packaging to freelancers. This reduces the company's cost a lot. 99 Designs is a great example of this type of crowdsourcing. Crowd creativity. When crowdsourcing is used for innovative media content, it is called crowd creativity. Crowdsourcing is often used to produce photographs, audio clips, short films, etc. Distributed knowledge. Anas, can you change? Yeah. Distributed knowledge. Crowdsourcing is also used to obtain knowledge and information on a particular topic. Citizen journalism is an important example of this type of crowdsourcing. Crowd voting. When your favorite contestant wins on the latest reality show, it is crowd voting in effect, when voters can be gathered for various decisions from designing a product to the flavor of chips. Micro tasks. Some small tasks that are outsourced to the public and do not require any particular skills are micro tasks. Macro tasks. Macro tasks, as the name suggests, are the exact opposite of micro tasks and need expertise in a particular area like coding or graphic designing. Over to you, Karna.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Let's move forward with the presentation by discussing crowdsourcing application in marketing activities. So, what is marketing? Basically, marketing can be defined as a process that is concerned with establishing customer relations, facilitating exchanges, and ensuring satisfaction of both the producer and the customer. In marketing, crowdsourcing is used for a number of purposes with the help of the internet. It can be used to enhance communication activities with the customers, to generate new, innovative, and fresh ideas for a marketing campaign, and to organize video contests for online or television commercials. It can also be used to organize designing contests for the design of a product. Let us understand these applications with the help of an example. From July to September 2013, Audi ran a brand campaign for their Audi Quattro car, asking its users in Australia what land of Quattro meant to them. The users were asked to create and produce their own version of Audi's Q5 commercial. This helped in increasing customer interaction with the brand, as about 150,000 unique visitors interacted with the brand over 880,000 times. Application of crowdsourcing in marketing enables organizations to reach large potential consumer groups. But at the same time, there are certain important factors that must be considered for success of crowdsourcing marketing activities. These can be broadly classified as contributor characteristics, reputation measures, and project management. Contributor characteristics refers to the attributes of the crowd that participate in a crowdsourcing campaign. Under this, contributor breadth refers to the size of the crowd, and contributor quality refers to the quality of the crowd. Coming to reputation measures, it consists of public reputation measures, which refers to the enterprise's ability to maintain its brand reputation in order to attract the most reliable and highest quality contributors. Internal reputation measures. Crowdsourcing involves dealing with external company services, so it is important to select the highest quality service providers, which also requires appropriate skills and capacities. Project management aspects deal with the planning, organizing, directing, and controlling the crowdsourcing campaign. Under project management capabilities, it is necessary to have strong management capabilities for project management and implementation. Project management tools refer to the specific tools and software required for the implementation of crowdsourcing. Quality control. The crowdsourcing should lead to high quality outcomes, so appropriate quality control procedures are needed. That would be all from my side. Now I would like to ask Madiha to move forward with the presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarma. Sometimes listening to the wisdom of the crowd just isn't smart. Let's look at a few examples of what happened when some big brands decided to try crowdsourcing and likely wound up wishing they hadn't. Back in 2009, NASA launched a campaign to name Node 3 in order to garner more public interest in space exploration. Though NASA had the foresight to start off with a suggested list of names of their own and screened any potential offensive names, TV show host Stephen Colbert quickly hijacked the voting process by encouraging fans to vote for his name. The move worked perfectly as his name garnered more than 230,000 votes, which was 40,000 more votes than Serenity. NASA ended up not using his name, but as a compromise named a treadmill after the comedian. Frito-Lay Do Us a Flavor contest and White House press conference are other examples of failed crowdsourcing ideas. So, while some companies are still struggling and figuring out how to utilize crowdsourcing effectively, many others have already taken advantage of this tactic. A few examples are McDonald's Burger Builder. In 2014, McDonald's decided to give their customers free rein and submit ideas for the type of burgers they'd like to see in store. They could create their perfect burgers online, and the rest of the country could vote for the best ones. In Germany, creators were also encouraged to create their own campaigns, which included viral videos and other valuable content marketing, which of course cost McDonald's nothing. Once the winners were crowned, McDonald's released the burgers weekly along with the picture and short bio of the creator. Another example is that of Lego. So Lego is a toy production company. Lego is responsible for probably one of the best examples of crowdsourcing we've seen. The company allows users to design new products and at the same time test the demand. Any user can submit a design that other users are able to vote for. The idea with the most amount of votes gets moved to production and the creator receives a 1% royalty on the net revenue. Starbucks and Airbnb are among the few other companies that aced it with their crowdsourcing campaigns. Thank you. That's all from my side. I would now like to hand over to Shamil.
Thank you, Madhya. Good morning, everyone. Today, my topic is common myths around crowdsourcing. Myth number one is crowdsourcing and crowdfunding are same. A lot of people equate crowdsourcing and crowdfunding. It should be noted that crowdfunding is done to gather individuals with the intention of contributing financially to some cause or service. Crowdsourcing, on the other hand, refers to the creation of a community that can contribute skills, ideas, or participation to the business. Second myth, crowdsourcing is good for microtasks only. While it is true that crowdsourcing is extremely effective for microtasks, this does not rule out the possibility of performing macro tasks here. Many online businesses have debunked this myth by successfully completing large scale projects on crowdsourcing communities with high efficiency. Third myth is crowdsourcing is only for businesses with a large customer support. This myth holds that businesses with large customer support departments can work on crowdsourcing platforms because they must respond to a large number of queries on a regular basis. Crowdsourcing does not always necessitate a large scale organized effort. You simply need to keep a professional list of organized FAQs, that's it, that's frequently asked questions, on hand so that when someone has a question about your company, you can respond quickly. Fourth myth is crowdsourcing is viable for large companies only. The vast majority of people believe that only large businesses can afford crowdsourcing because small business lack the budget and resources to work with contributors online.
Hello.
This is completely incorrect because there are numerous crowdsourcing platforms available today that provide low-cost services and can be easily accessed. Aside from that, there are many small businesses today that are growing through such crowdsourcing platforms. Example of such crowdsourcing platforms are Utest, Innocentive, Amazon Mechanical Turk, and Taskberg. Fifth myth is crowdsourcing is not for sensitive projects. As data hack and scam techniques are becoming quite popular, now that is why many organizations are afraid of handling this sensitive data to online contributors. But if you choose a standard and professional crowdsourcing platforms, it provides you with a secure and reliable setup for running your businesses. Thank you. Now I'd like Aram to carry on the presentation.
Thank you, Shamil. Now we'll be discussing the pros and cons of crowdsourcing. Let's begin with its advantages. One of the prominent advantages of crowdsourcing is that it provides a company or a firm with an opportunity to work with skilled individuals that may not be present in an in-house team. Secondly, crowdsourcing reduces the time taken to get the work done. Suppose an employee need a week's time to complete a certain job. Through crowdsourcing, the company can cut the turnaround time to mere hours by breaking the job into many smaller parts and assigning it to a crowd of workers. At the same time, it is also cheaper than hiring an employee as crowdsourced labor often costs less than hiring a professional for the said job. Crowdsourcing also helps in surfacing and recognizing new and innovative ideas which wouldn't have been discovered through a more traditional approach. Lastly, crowdsourcing externalizes the risk as the company doesn't risk its own time, money, or labor on the task at the hand, but rather accepts only the result that satisfy the requirements. Now let's discuss the disadvantages of crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing creates less room for confidentiality as like other things. A crowdsourcing challenge can be accessed by anyone and everyone on the internet. Crowdsourcing also results in limited control as there is a higher chance of miscommunication with the crowd in a crowdsourcing company. The project may go in the wrong direction quickly as the company cannot oversee the process from beginning to end. A company may receive a number of submissions, ideas, or completed tasks for a crowdsourced job. There is always a possibility that the results might be subpar and low quality. Plagiarism is another area of concern that comes along with crowdsourcing. Certain individuals might plagiarize someone else's work or ideas as their own. There is always potential for failure when a company uses the crowdsourcing approach to get a job done. This may result in wastage of time, efforts, funds spent on the process of crowdsourcing the said job. Over to Hamad for the conclusion.
Thank you, Aram. Now I would like to wind up the presentation by mentioning a few conclusive points. Crowdsourcing was introduced way back in the 17th century, but it did not gain popularity until the 20th century. One of the most important reasons behind its relevance during later years was the introduction of the internet due to technological advancements, which made the process of crowdsourcing easier. As a result of this, crowdsourcing has become an effective tool for organizations in order to communicate with their customers and to provide a higher level of satisfaction to them. But despite all benefits and possibilities, organizations should approach with caution towards a crowdsourcing campaign, as there is always a risk of failure if it is not implemented properly. That being said, rapid technological development and advancement, along with the availability of the internet, have transformed the world into a global village, as a result of which doors of innumerable and unimaginable possibilities have now been opened for crowdsourcing. Therefore, it can be said that the full potential of crowdsourcing approach is yet to be realized by organizations. That was the end of our presentation. These are some of the references. The house is now open for questions. Mehak, Farwa, Varisha, and Faraz will field the questions. Thank you.
Hello.
Can I ask the question?
I have a question too.
Yeah, sure.
Can I ask first?
Yes, Asaba.
Okay, so I want to know how crowdsourcing can benefit education.
Well, there are several benefits of crowdsourcing in education for students. Like they can create and share summaries of study materials like classes, books, and other materials. And on another level, crowdsourcing in education also benefits students by giving them a chance to participate in a group process where they can learn to evaluate the real life problems and can also propose creative solutions. Thank you.
I also have a question. So somebody from your group mentioned about crowdsourcing and crowdfunding, right? So if you would have to explain this difference between these two in a layman language, how would you explain that?
May I answer the question?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, you are asking the difference between crowdsourcing and crowdfunding, right?
Yeah.
Right. So basically, crowdsourcing refers to getting the job done by a crowd, which are also known as contributors, right? In this, we start with a marketing idea or a campaign to generate ideas, fresh and innovative ideas from the crowd, and to get our work done through them. Whereas in case of crowdfunding, you can say that it is a sub part of crowdsourcing. It can be termed as a business model of crowdsourcing, in which we generate finances from the crowds or from the contributors in order to finance our projects. I hope I have answered your question.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I have a question. Can anyone explain how a crowdsourcing organization makes money?
Sorry?
We'll take your question afterwards, Mera. Emma, can you repeat your question, please?
Can anyone explain how a crowdsourcing organization makes money?
Okay, so I'm sure you all must have heard of Yelp, which is a go-to place for reviews for small businesses. Now, Yelp was founded in 2004, and the users, they can submit a review of their product or services using a 1 to 5 star rating scale, and businesses can also update their contact information, hours, and other basic listing information. In addition to writing reviews, users can react to reviews, plan events, or discuss their personal lives. So you can think of it as Zomato with reviews, but even for the salon that you're going to. Now, how do they make money? They make money through CPC advertising. They make money through transactions using interactive consumer tools. For example, Yelp has partnered with Grubhub, which allows consumers to place food orders for pickup and delivery right through Yelp. So they can read the review from Yelp and order from Grubhub using Yelp. And other services like data licensing. So obviously, because so many people are registering themselves with Yelp, they have a lot of data. So Yelp generates their revenue from subscription services, licensing payments for access to Yelp data, and other non-advertising, non-transaction arrangements. Humaira, you can go ahead with your
Mehak,
question.
I have a question.
I have a question. Please go ahead, Mahir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so can you give an
Can I ask?
example of crowdsourcing app in India, Mehak?
Can you please repeat your question?
Can you give an example of crowdsourcing app in India? I mean.
Okay, so I don't know how many of you have heard of this app, but it's called Radar Bot. It is a speed camera and GPS app which lets you receive real-time alerts about the speed cameras that you may come across as you're driving. So it informs you of your speed at all times and the maximum speed that is allowed on the road that you're currently driving on. And for example, if you come across a camera that was not listed on the app, then you have the opportunity of adding that information on the app.
May I ask the question now?
Yes, please.
Actually, like while crowdsourcing and crowdfunding, you need to give some of the information to the crowd, right? So, what should be the strategy so that no confidential data is leaked into the market, and which benefits the other companies, your rivals, or your competitors?
So basically, when you're starting to work on a project, and when you're considering the crowdsourcing or crowdfunding approach for that project, then one of the main factors that must be considered by any organization is confidentiality of data.
Yes, you may carry on.
Sorry, ma'am. Actually,
You may carry on. Sorry.
Thought you were saying something.
Sorry.
Yeah. So one of the main factors that is considered by organizations before moving towards the crowdsourcing or crowdfunding approach is how to keep the data confidential, because it is very important that the data should be kept confidential, and this is done by distributing by communicating only the basic idea or the basic concept of the project to the public. If anyone wants to add, then they can go ahead and add to the answer.
Thanks a lot, Arma.
Ma'am, I have a question for Farwa. Can I? Farwa, are you there?
Yes. Yeah.
So, Farwa, my question is that what is the main idea behind crowdsourcing?
Humaira, the main idea behind crowdsourcing is that crowdsourcing mainly involves seeking, knowledge, services, or goods from a very large number of people. So what happens is that these people submit their ideas in response to the online requests made either through social media platforms, smartphone applications, or any other crowdsourcing platforms. Thanks.
May I know who asked the question?
Ma'am, it's me, Humaira.
Humaira. Achha, I thought Humaira is a part of this group. Just one last question for this group is, say you're asked to identify three major reasons why we go for crowdsourcing. Anyone can answer one reason, but it should be different for each. Arma, Arham, Humaira, yes, Madiha. I can see some names. Shamil.
Yes, ma'am. One of the reasons that crowdsourcing has become more popular nowadays is the availability of social media platforms and as a result, and social networking platforms as well. So, basically,
Mehak can mention one reason.
Yes, ma'am. Adding to what? Yes, ma'am. May I go ahead?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Adding to what Arma said, social media is getting it's on the boom. So it makes it very cheaper than any other alternative option that we have.
Okay. Any other reason? Any other? Varisha, Hassan, Shamil.
Ma'am, can I speak?
Yes, anyone.
Can I speak?
Pardon?
Ma'am, I think it reduces management burden and is also very cost.
It reduces cost. Okay, and many a time when you are not able to get the answer, so you want a host of ideas to give you the answer. Like it was in case of disappearance of the Malaysian airline. I think you all must have read about it. It disappeared into the ocean and nobody could trace where it went, what was the actual fault. So at that time, they resorted to crowdsourcing to get ideas as to what exactly had taken place. Okay, it was a good presentation. Arham, Arma, Shamil, and the entire group, Varisha and the entire group. So we call it a day. And if allowed,
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm sure there are many more questions and queries will come about. There's a request from the other group, Mohammed Owaisis group, who want to make a presentation. If you all are ready, I'm there. And we can begin the presentation, but please strictly adhere to the time so that you don't go beyond, say, 15 to 20 minutes. So let me know if their group is ready.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, two of our group members have. Wait, let me check, ma'am. One second. Ma'am, Anas Khan has gone to take auditions for the club activities, so that's why he said I will not be available after the 4 p.m.
So we can have the presentation tomorrow, as you
Yes,
see.
ma'am. Sure. We can have the
So
first
we
thing
can take
tomorrow.
up the presentation at 3 o'clock tomorrow, but adhere to the time limit, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Sure. Sure.
Okay, ma'am, sure.
Sure.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Sounds
So
good.
we can
Thank you,
leave. Thank you, students.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.